Welcome, my wonderful human beings, to the next episode of About Shadows and Sunshine. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I am Vanessa, your host. Please subscribe to the podcast if you're able to listen on Spotify. It really helps a lot. There's also a new function on Spotify so that you can write comments under every new episode. I would love to receive some feedback from you guys. And to start this new episode that you were all waiting for, I'm sorry that you had to wait so long actually. But yeah, it took me a bit longer because I'm focusing on my book right now. There's just only a month until I will start studying at university again, so not so much time to finish my book. But I'm sure that I will make it, and you will definitely hear when I finish it. But let's dive into this new episode. I have to give a little trigger warning out to those who struggle with intrusive thoughts or with suicidal thoughts. This is just what is the theme for today. So let's take a deep breath and dive right into this episode. Negative thoughts can be explained as, in general, negative opinions and perceptions about the world, other people, society, our lives, and ourselves. We all recognize that we had this time in our lives thinking that nothing works out for us, or how we just aren't lucky, or that we dramatize situations in our minds. I believe it's very normal to have these from time to time. And as you probably already know, our negative thoughts mostly caused by a bad childhood or constant worries. The brain learns to look out for the negative because it's the only thing you have experienced. And just as we can train ourselves to think bad about the world, we can train ourselves to look out for wonders and positive things in life. A good thing you can do is write down what you are grateful for every morning or just at any time of your day, because it will just transform the way you look at things, will make you more grateful just for life in general. But intrusive thoughts can be just really disturbing. They show up as thoughts that do not really align with our true nature. Mostly they are harmful, sexual, obsessive, and doubting. Like, what if I jump out of that window or hurt someone I care about? When we're stressed, anxious, or depressed, these thoughts often show up. Also, if we are surrounded by bad spirits and entities, I often felt the presence of spirits or other people's energies around me. And not always these spirits are good for us. In my opinion, that's when these thoughts feel so out of place and like they are not even our own. Some of us feel energies, and why won't that lead to overthinking their thoughts? I don't know. But intrusive thoughts can be just occasional. I noticed them fully disappearing after I left my depression and self-harming behaviors behind. But the main point here is that you're not your thoughts. These loops do not show your morals, rather your values. Try to see them like a visitor or a weird animal that is not a part of you, just messing with you, but also leaving after a while. If it feels right, you can give it a funny name. I bet then it seems less scary. A type of thoughts that mostly scares others around us are suicidal thoughts. And I also experienced that. People just get so scared that you could end your life and leave them when you tell them that you have suicidal thoughts. But they mostly aren't just occasional. they can be passive or just active. In my darkest or in my shadow times, let's call it that, because, shadows and sunshine. I had passive suicide thoughts. I knew I could never leave my family, and here I mean the people I care about, behind. But many people try to actually kill themselves. And in fact, I believe some of these can be intrusive thoughts as well. Otherwise, some thoughts are created by the opinion we have about ourselves. This opinion or identity is also influenced in a massive way by the people we first had relationships to in our life. Like our parents, friends, and school, how our teachers saw us, our siblings, and relatives. This view of ourselves can change when we grow up or go through spiritual awakenings. These neuronal patterns form our core beliefs. The way our parents took care of us forms how we see relationships and trust. Even if these experiences are negative, once understood, the brain works simple, but can be very intimidating for the modern life we live. One thing I need to get through is if anyone makes you think that your achievements or your being is not good enough and that this world is better off without you, stop telling it yourself over and over again. You are not the problem. The brain learns through repetitions. You could tell yourself anything and believe it after enough repetitions. But what is the problem then? Them? Probably, in some ways, I think. The way they told you things from a harmful and unhealthy perspective. You can decide how you react to it. Do you want to make it your truth, or do you want to be aware of the things that really describe you? Because we are all human beings. Our essence is love. And we will always be love. And that is my truth, at least. So think about your part in this world. What do you want to experience in this life? Stargazing, your first kiss, being successful in your career, can be anything. There's even a study I found on my research called a multi-phase analysis of differential validity by Joachim Witowski and Rainer Scheuchenpflug, which talks also about how people with depression react different to the death of a loved one than people without a mental disease. Even the neurological patterns are different, because people with depression even associate the word death with something negative. The study showed differences in the ways the participants dealt with the loss. Mourners mostly experienced longing, the need of closeness, and a slight feeling of guilt, while the depressive were feeling worthless, hopeless, and had suicidal thoughts. What made me see that suicidal thoughts are more than a repetition. They express a person's deep pain, a pain we think is unbearable. Let me tell you the truth. There are many reasons for suicidal thoughts, and this might not align with all of you, but if you feel this huge pain, it's rather because you brought it with you from a past life, or you carry your family's pain within yourself, or you believe the wrong things about yourself, which most likely you were told by people who don't even really know your heart. Here you can choose. Rather, you transform your pain, like express your emotions, through art, talking to a coach, therapist, or a friend, and face it. I personally love doing yoga, or the so-called emotional freedom technique, where you are tapping your pressure points to calm down the nervous system. Or drawing. It's like, I really do love art, and spending time with the people I love, showing them that I love them. It's like small actions can make such a huge difference. And also, suicidal thoughts often happen when we are unhappy with the here and now. What you can do is write a list with things that make you unhappy, like a messy room or your parents screaming at each other. And then separate it and what you can control and what not. You can pause the episode just right now to do so. Now you got a list with things you can directly change in your life. If you want an action plan right away, you can add how you will change these things. Everything starts in your mind. And now you have a second option. Do nothing. I promise everything will stay the same, or you will take action but in the wrong direction. Don't think that's what you want. But many people choose this path because of not knowing it better, or simply because it's just easier. I mean, who likes to work on themselves? I personally just really do, because I'm kind of obsessed with my personal development, and I kind of hype myself up with videos and with content I watch about it, but not many people do that. And you will only enjoy it if you make it fun for yourself, because you love yourself. And honey, it will not happen overnight, but the flower will bloom. After we have talked about suicidal thoughts and intrusive thoughts, I want to dive into a similar topic. So let me ask, what if these thoughts didn't just visit occasionally? What if they looped, repeated, and demanded rituals to quiet them? That brings us to obsessive compulsive disorder, an often misunderstood condition where the mind doesn't just struggle with unwanted thoughts, but gets trapped in patterns trying to escape them. I personally never heard of this disorder before, but I want to spread more awareness about it. Today, I have my best friend Marilyn telling me about her story with her disorder, OCD. As she was 9 or 10 years old, Marilyn already felt the urge to be a perfectionist at school, to do extracurricular work, to feel more liked. She was always a sensitive person, and OCD can develop in your early teenage years or later in life. It's mostly genetic, what means the brain structure and function is just different. It's rooted in how the brain processes thoughts and decisions. The key players are the orbitofrontal cortex and the anterior cingulate cortex. These areas form a feedback loop that's supposed to help us evaluate risk and filter out unnecessary thoughts. But in OCD, this loop gets stuck in overdrive. The brain keeps flagging harmless thoughts as threats, triggering anxiety and compulsive behaviors. It's like a mental alarm system that won't shut off, even when there is no real danger. And after triggering incidents, Marilyn says, you can feel like you're in danger. First you get an intrusive thought. Then, to reassure that thought, you do certain compulsions. And for people with PO or OCD, these compulsions are mental, like mental rituals. For example, double checking if the door of your room is locked. And the more people try to reassure these fears, the more they get stuck in a loop. You can get stuck in a loop for a few days or a few months, also years of thinking. Marilyn says to cope with an OCD attack, you have to notice that it's an obscene thought, acknowledge the trigger, and to separate your own character from the thoughts to break the loop. I believe it helps to write down your core beliefs and values that are actually true about yourself. And Marilyn describes her experience as very hard at the beginning because she started to question even the silence in her brain. but she highlights how important it is to resist the urge of feeding into her OCD loops, to choose herself and to stay strong in her own identity. Also, the importance of a stable friend group is something that supported her a lot on her healing journey. After experiencing accusations and bad years in school, she feels so much more healed now. I have some words from her dedicated to you guys.
And when I don't get stuck in any loop, I'm just like any other normal person. It's like I don't even have this disorder, but I know I have got it because I still get triggers. It's just I have learned the way to manage my OCD, what works for me. So if you really want to give message to people who have OCD, just say separate your character from OCD. You know who you are, you believe in yourself, and don't let anyone, not even others, not even your own brain confuse you. If we look into the positive side of OCD asks you, weird questions, but those weird questions reveals a lot of things about you, like your resilience, your most deepest, darkest fears, so that you know that how you handle yourself. So I'll say OCD happens when you feel unsafe as a child. It was that how it was for me, but I don't know how it happens in others. But the most triggering thing is that, and common is, OCD happens whenever you're unsure about something. When the thing is something you fear or you doubt. Like if you fear losing someone, you will have doubts about or even dreams about losing that person or about killing them or anything. It can be any intrusive thoughts. Like if you're holding a baby, you'll be like, your brain will be like, OCD will tell you to stab that baby, but you know that you won't kill anyone. It's just an intrusive thoughts, and anything can be an intrusive thoughts.
I hope you could understand everything she said. It's just two voice memos, and she also says something else. OCD is your worst enemy, but his intentions are to protect you, but instead making your life hell. So instead of getting caught in a loop and doubts, fears, understand OCD, understand yourself, separate yourself from OCD, learn your triggers, and what you fear, overcome the fear slowly, and one day you will realize OCD is your bestest friend instead of your worst enemy. Love yourself, let others love you. Stop resisting love. This was all she said to me in a short form. We had a really lovely conversation about OCD. It was a while ago, and I'm so sorry that I didn't put this episode on earlier. But yeah, I think you guys now do have an overview about OCD and what it actually is. If you want to have more information about this topic or just how to deal with people that have it, I would definitely be happy to make a part 2 of this, but we will see. I will definitely link Marilyn's socials in the show notes. Please check out her YouTube channel. She's putting so much work into it, and I'm so proud of her. So yeah, definitely check her out, and we will see each other in the next episode. I love you guys so much. Have a wonderful day, and don't be so hard on yourselves.